Hello and welcome to Coastal Living Down Under. Today I'm going to be doing a low sweat soap base, and I'm going to be using just the regular muffin silicone baking trays, as well as these ones here. Now this is going to be a two-step process because I'm going to use part of the clear, the low sweat clear, and then I'm going to use a white. I'm going to use some of these flowers in the clear, and then the back part will be white, and then when we push them out you'll have a lovely two-toned cake of soap. And then I'm going to show you how to wrap them so that you don't get the glycerin attracting the water to the soap. We're going to be using some essential oils, some flower petals like you've got over here. We've got some pot puree, pink rose buds, and we've got the rose petals, and then we're also going to do a few of them with some gold leaf in the clear part. All right, so basically we're going to chop up our soap base. Now you want to cut them down into about 1 centimeter cubes. All right, and that just makes it easier for when you melt them down in the microwave. So we're going to put them into the microwave. We're going to put them in 10-second bursts, just so we don't burn the soap. Now, I'm not going to do too many today. I'm just going to do a small amount. I'm going to try the rectangle ones, and then I'll do a few small ones, which are perfect size for fitting inside the palm of your hand. Okay, so we've got those chopped into little sticks, like so. Okay, and then all we need to do, if I can get it off the knife, is then cut them into smaller cubes. Now, you can use any knife you want. I'm using one of the knives that has, it's sort of like something you would use to cut cheese and things like that as well. But any knife, you don't need to, my whole thing is you don't need to go out and buy all this fancy stuff. Just use what you've got as much as you can. So we're going to put these in a microwave safe container because you can use the double boil method that I use with candles, but I just find that this is much quicker and much easier. Whatever works best for you. The whole process with candles and soaps and bath salts, facial scrubs and things like that, it's all trial and error. Whatever works for you, whatever you can do, really. Okay, so I've got my clear in there, and now we're going to microwave it on 10-second bursts. I'll show you quickly while that is in the microwave how to prep our containers. So if you're using silicone molds, then there's really no prep at all, because it will just come away as time goes on. I wouldn't recommend using anything other than the silicone containers. They need to be any container really, but it needs to be flexible enough so that you can pop the soaps out. So basically we'll do a few just with the sprinkling of the flowers in the bottom. Now you may have to adjust these once you do the pour, and just push the flowers. Make sure that they face the pretty side down so that when it pops out you get the better side. So we'll do a few pot puree, a couple. For the small ones I'm going to leave these bigger flowers out because I think they will work better without that. Make sure you do an even number of the colours, so you don't just get all one plain colour. I'll do a couple of these. So these, for instance, these rose petals are going to be too big for such a small one here. So we might just do, actually we'll try one or two. Okay, so just so you can see what we're doing here. And Ellie's coming over to help me. No, Ellie's not coming to help me. Okay, so we'll put some, do one just with rose petals, like that. Now, I'm not sure how much I'm going to have, so it may be that I only have enough to do maybe 2 of the rectangles. We'll see how much I've melted. Okay, in, and then we'll do one of the gold leaf. Now, this is the tricky one because it sticks all the time. So this one you probably will have to push back down to the bottom. But because you're using the clear, it won't make a whole lot of difference because you'll still be able to see straight through it. Okay, as you can see, it is definitely sticky. Okay, some gold leaf. All right, you can probably do a little bit of gold leaf, and I might do one gold leaf and some rose petals just for some contrasting colours. Okay, and now we'll go and check our... Okay, so I'm just going to show you, this is after about 40 seconds of 10 second bursts. This one has liquefied. If you're going to be pouring these, or you've got a few containers on the go, I would recommend that you put some cling wrap or something on the top to stop it forming a skin. But I usually use what we call cling wrap, which is just that plastic wrap that you put over your food. Okay, so I don't know if you can see here, but all of that melted down to about a quarter of the pouring jug. So that's perfect. That's the perfect consistency I want for the pour. So we're going to start the pour. We've melted down the soap, the clear soap. I'm going to add in a Australian florals and honey fragrance for this one. Since we're going with all the Australian flowers, we will add in the oil. Now, some oils will be different to others. It's really hard to know what's what. So it's usually just by trial and error. I'll put a little bit more in there. Now, if you find that it's forming a skin, sometimes you may have to put it back in if you've left it too long, or if it's particularly cold in your home, or where you're doing it like it is for us today. It's a little bit chilly here in Australia today, even though it's pretty much summer. All right, so we're going to do that. Swipe that down. Okay, we'll start with the smaller ones. I'm just going to pour that one in. Now, I don't need it to be completely covering the flowers because we're going to do the white over the top, but this will just give it a lovely clear detail that you'll be able to see. Okay, you can see the gold leaf. I don't know if you can see from there, but the gold leaf has all moved to one side, so I may have to put just a little bit more in. All right. Now, these big flowers are sitting up, so you just need to push them down so that they're on the bottom. Pour that in. Now you make the clear as thick or as thin as you like. It's entirely up to you. It may depend on how much of it you've got, like it is for me today. I haven't got a lot to work with. All right. Okay. Make that one a little bit bigger. I might put a bit more over here. So you can see how simple that was. It's much simpler than making candles, I can guarantee you that. And let's hope a lot less temperamental than candle making. Okay, all right. So now what I would do is any of the detail that you need to fix, I would fix that now. Use a skewer or something to push it down, or your finger, whatever works, whatever you've got handy, because it will set rather quickly. So that one, for instance, is just sitting on top. Okay, need to flip that flower over if I can. Flower over. Yeah, and now it's starting to develop a skin, so we'll just leave it like that now. Okay, so we've got some lovely Australian floral honey scented soap. You can mix the scents up if you want. We might try one of those with a different scent. I've got a Hawaiian ruby and guava here that I haven't tried yet. And so just to give you an idea, now that it's slightly set, that's what we've got so far. Okay, and this one hasn't set quite as well, so I may not be able to tip it up. What I may do, don't want it to run up one side, that's the problem. You can sort of see what we've got there. Okay, all right, so we'll let that set and then we'll use our white soap on top and then we'll do a reveal at the end. Okay, so we're just going to check that these have set. Just flip them up for you. So they're pretty set. There's no issues there. I have had some cling wrap over the top of them just in between that. I always do that just in case there's moisture, a fair bit of moisture in the air. Take that off now. All right, so now we have our white soap. Now this one isn't a low sweat, so it behaves much the same way, and the heating process is exactly the same. We just have to cut it down. Same thing, 1 centimetre chunks. Now, I'm going to do a little bit more of the white, mainly because I want there to be more white than there is clear. Okay. All right, so you basically just redo the same process over again. Make sure that these are sealed up nice and tight so you don't get the water being attracted to the glisten. Seal it like so. Okay. All right, so we're going to cut these to smaller chunks. Smaller you cut them, the easier and quicker they will melt for you. In here. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to show you how to shrink wrap at the end. Now, you will need some sort of heat gun. A hairdryer will not do the job. They're not all that expensive. You could also use like a blowtorch type thing if you've got one of those as a lighter. You could use something like that, just the handheld blowtorch. That would do the same thing also. Alright, so you can see that we've got more than we had with the clear. This is a lot more in the container, although obviously when that melts down there'll be a lot less. Okay, so I'm just going to do 10-second bursts until it's all melted down. Okay, so I've melted down the white soap. You haven't got a lot of time with this or it'll start to set, so we need to get to pouring. If I've got any left over, then I will do some other ones, just plain white, and we'll do some decorating. Okay, so you're basically just doing exactly what you did before, pouring these in and adding as much or as little as you want. Okay, like so. I'll do some of the smaller ones because I don't want to run out. These little ones are going to be very cute in your hand. Right. So you can see that there's a bit of a skin forming already because it is quite cold in the house. So we're just going to push it over to the side. Okay. I need to get this done fast. Okay. Now I am just going to do a few small ones, and then I'm going to have to I'll show you how quickly you're going to have to get the decorations in. Now I haven't added any fragrance in these, I'm just going for a natural scent. We have got the fragrance on the clear side. Okay, all right, So we're going to need to quickly do, and the dogs are barking at something or other, a bird. All right, so we're just going to add some of these flowers in. Sorry about the dogs. Okay. Now, you probably won't see them on the other side. I'm just going to push them in. They're not going to get all the way to the bottom, I don't think. Oh, actually maybe. Okay, push them further down. Okay. All right. And I think we'll just leave some of them, some of the other ones, maybe some potpourri. So that's pretty much it. That's how basic making soaps can be. Something that you really only need the soaps, and you can probably even, I mean, I probably could have used the lavender out that I dried the other day, as opposed to these bought flowers. Whatever you have available. If you have some plants in your gardens that have lovely scents or just look nice, dry them out. As long as they're not a toxic plant, then there is no issue with you using them. You'll find that if you haven't dried them out enough, that they probably will go brown, which is not ideal. But we've got to work with what we've got and what budget we've got. Okay, so we'll let these set. You'll know when they're set because you probably need to give them a couple of hours only, depending on how hot it is where you are. And then we'll show you what the final result is. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our tips, tricks, our little hacks, or our unique candle making container ideas and things like that. So we're just going to pop these out of the molds now. I've let them sit for about 2 hours. I probably didn't need to leave it that long, but I have. I covered them with the cling film so that the water wasn't attracted to them. Now I just wanted to point out, I'm not making these soaps to sell or anything like that, so I generally don't do one of the steps, which if you're going to sell them, then you probably would like to get rid of the air bubbles. All you need is a spray of alcohol on them in between each pour. So when I was using the clear, once I'd poured the clear on, you just give the whole lot of spray. That tends to disperse the bubbles. For myself and for gifts and things like that, I don't worry about that step because it's not that big of a deal for me. But if you're going to be selling them, then I imagine that you would probably want to do that step. So just bear in mind you would need that as well. But if you're just making them at home, then you don't really need to. So let's pop one of these out. I'll go for one of the bigger ones. Oh wow. So this is the gold leaf soap. Oh no, actually, sorry, I lie. This is one of the flowers with the potpourri. Okay, so there's that one. Another potpourri one. So you can see when you do a bit more of the clear, it tends to come out a bit nicer. Okay, now what's the next one? We did a different one. Oh yeah, this is the whole pink rose blossoms, the buds. So you can see how beautiful these are and how easy it was to do. Okay, and this is the gold leaf. Oh, what's that one? Okay, so you can see the gold leaf here. And then you've got the flowers at the back. It sort of gives it a bit of depth. Okay. And our last one here is, yeah, look at that. Beautiful. So you can just imagine these sitting on your bathroom in the little bathroom soap container. All right, so we'll pop out the smaller ones. We'll get rid of that one. Okay, so this one out. So this was just one of the plain. We didn't have the clear with that. And I would generally, as a gift, just wrap it with that side up because that's the pretty side. But you could wrap it just with the plain side up as well. So you can see how easily these pop out of your cooking, your cupcake molds. All right, so there's that one there. So they're all very pretty in their own right. This is our gold leaf one. You could use, I did a tutorial on how to dry your own lavender. You could use your own dried lavender in these as well. And then really the only ingredient you would need is the soap. So there's that as well. I mean, this one you could do either side, whatever you like. And the last one. So they're just so pretty. All right, so the last step I'm going to show you is how to seal them, because if you leave these out in the open air, the moisture in the air will be attracted to the glycerine in the soaps, and you'll end up with yucky looking soaps. They'll discolor and they'll get like water beads all over them. So what I'm going to do now, I must confess, my husband seems to have packed away my heat gun, but that's okay. We're going to improvise, and I'm just going to show you how to do it with a lighter. Some people don't want to have to go out and buy all these fancy things, so this is what we're going to do. We'll just show you. I have already tested one. The trick to using the lighter, if you've got a blowtorch, that would be better, but the trick to using the lighter is to just do it in short bursts. Okay, like so, light. And this is just shrinking it to the soap. So you don't want to burn it. You certainly don't want to melt it. I don't know if you can see it shrinking here. I might just come a bit closer. So it's just taking the air out and shrinking it to the soap. And this will assist in keeping seal that down. Okay, and there you have it, completely sealed in plastic wrap. And so you would just go through and do that individually for each and every one. I'm not using anything fancy, nothing expensive. It's just your standard, what we call here in Australia, cling wrap. Other people would call it other things, but saran wrap, things like that. Just seal them in that. It's quick, it's easy and simple, and it'll keep the glycerin, keep the water away from the glycerine. Okay, so that's basically how to make your own homemade soaps tutorial. Just letting you know that we've done a wonderful tea light candle with seashells, which I made this beautiful one here. Smells like gardenia. And we've got this beautiful cup of tea candle that we've used a special crackle wick, as well as the decorations that you've got here with the gold leaf and the rose petals. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got lots of great videos on all sorts of things. We've got plenty coming up as well. Body scrubs, all the ingredients you can find in your fridge, foot scrub, facial scrubs, as well as candles. We've got some lifestyle things as well of the area that we live in. So please subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching. Bye.